weird or what? Hey YouTube, welcome back to SIBZ, West Coast East Coast Siblings. Guys, we are on episode 4 of our coverage of WandaVision. Don't forget to click the bell so you can be notified as soon as we drop coverage of each new episode of WandaVision. Next week, we will be doing episode 5. I have rewatched all 3 episodes of WandaVision leading up to this episode, so I'm going to reaffirm and establish some theories that I had before, and then we'll get into what happened this episode. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So far, we know that the potential big bads for this season of WandaVision are Hydra, because we saw the Hydra soak last week. So we know potentially Hydra is involved. We know that Hydra is responsible for creating Wanda in essence. So that's one potential big bad. Then there's also the possibility of AIM. Iron Man 3, Killian, played by Guy Pearce, invented the advanced idea mechanics, and that was AIM. Now in the comic books, they're the science branch of Hydra, and their symbol is a hexagon. We've been seeing a whole lot of hexagons, so maybe Hydra is trying to get to Wanda via AIM, their science division. We don't have a lot of proof of that, pretty much only the hexagons, but something to consider. We've still got the Mephisto, Grim Reaper kind of thing going on, although I feel like episode 4 debunks all of that, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then finally, Wanda could be our potential big bad. I think episode 4 kind of confirms that, but that's something that we've been talking about. Also, in previous episodes, I think I said that Westview was not a real place. Well, before episode 4, but now definitely in episode 4, we know that Westview is a real place. It was a town that was called Eastview that Wanda seems to have taken over. So we'll get into that a little bit more later on. But I just wanted to clear that up. Westview is a real place. It was not a place invented by SWORD. Number 3 is that whatever happens in Westview doesn't necessarily stay in Westview. In episode 3 at the end, when Wanda chucks Monica out of Westview, she's still in the 70s wardrobe outfit. So that's really important because we know that Wanda has babies in Westview, and we were wondering if those babies could exist outside of this kind of whatever is happening in Wanda's mind, Westview, and now we know that potentially it could because Monica's clothes she's still wearing her 70s. Okay, so now let's get into what happens in episode 4. You guys, I thought this episode was good, but dang, Marvel is really teasing out the answers to these questions that we have. Am I right? Because pretty much in episode 4, we didn't learn much more than what we already knew. We did get to see what's been happening from episode 1 to episode 3 from SWORD's point of view, which is helpful, but again, it's not, it opens the world a little bit more. We know more about SWORD and Monica. We learned that Monica was a victim of the dusting, or I guess what they're calling in the MCU, the blip. And I might just be late on that. Maybe they've always been calling it the blip, but I like the dusting way better. But anyway, she wakes up 5 years later. She finds out that her mom, Maria Rambeau, has died via cancer, and she is not in charge of her mother's legacy, which was SWORD, because she had disappeared. So she's kind of having to grapple with someone else has kind of taken over by the name of Tyler. Can't remember his last name, but he is now in charge of SWORD, and he's her superior. We also get to see Darcy. Yay! She's so funny and so great. Well, you can totally tell, Darcy has grown up quite a bit since we last saw her in Thor 2. She's a doctor now. She's not an intern. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's talking about. You can definitely tell that Jane has had an influence on her. She's very confident and sure of herself. We also know through Darcy that SWORD has no idea what's going on. They're completely confused and completely in the dark, which helps us in terms of theorizing what the heck is going on. SWORD doesn't know, so they're definitely not one of the hands involved in manipulating Wanda through Westview. We also get to see Jimmy Woo. Yay, woo woo. He's funny and quirky. And we learn through him that Westview used to be called Eastview, and the only reason he found out about it is because he had been investigating a missing persons case. Now, I wonder if that missing person is important. I think it must be. The missing person was in New Jersey, and the last time we were in New Jersey in the MCU was having to do with Captain America. So that might be some sort of tie between Cap, the Winter Soldier, the new Cap / Falcon. So that's something to note, but we don't get much more than that. There was a missing person in New Jersey, and that's what brought Jimmy Woo to New Jersey, and that's how he discovered Westview. We also learn through Darcy and Sword and their point of view on what's been happening. Someone is censoring the broadcast. Now, the question is, who was censoring the broadcast? Immediately, I was like, another person like Mephisto, our potential big bad, maybe. But I think at the end of the episode, it's pretty strong that it's Wanda. And I mean, we know that because we've been watching Wanda. Rewind time, flips reality around a little bit. So it's Wanda that's controlling everything that Sword is seeing. In this episode, we get that Sword has pretty much been doing the same thing that we've been doing. Overanalyzing these episodes of WandaVision on TV and trying to figure out what any of this has to do with anything else, how the heck Wanda got there, how the heck Vision is there, and how all of this is important to the rest of the world. So not gonna lie, it was great. I'm glad that they opened up the universe. Kind of disappointed that we didn't get more questions answered. And I don't know, you guys, this is just literally me turning off WandaVision and talking to you. So maybe after I watch it a second time, I'll get a little bit more information. If I do, I will definitely make a new video on that. But right now, we pretty much just learned that Sword is just as confused as we are. But now in the last 30 seconds of the episode, not gonna lie, it seems like in true WandaVision fashion, we get some meaty information. Wanda's in control, pretty much. There's still a little bit of potential out there for it to be someone else manipulating her in the universe, maybe 10%. But after this episode, Wanda says, I have everything under control, or something like that. We see her realize that Monica does not belong in Westview. She pretty much almost says exactly what Agnes says, that she's an outsider, that she doesn't belong, that she doesn't have a home there. That's something. And so she pretty much beast modes up and chucks homegirl out of there. And that's not very nice. So we wonder, is Wanda getting a little evil, getting a little sassy maybe? Now, I think the scariest thing that happens in this episode that actually has had me gasping was when she looked over at Vision and his face was devoid of color. The Mind Stone was plucked out of his brain. His eyes are white and he's talking to her. The last time we saw Vision like that was when he was dead in reality. And it makes you wonder what we've been theorizing all along. Wanda has created this universe to cope with killing her love. But that still poses the question, is Vision dead? I think he must be dead. But I don't think that means that this season ends with Vision being dead. Who knows if WandaVision will get a season 2, but I think by the end of this chunk of episodes, Vision will be alive. And I talk about how I think that's true in episode 3, so make sure you go check that out. But what struck me as odd in that little exchange between Wanda and Vision, us seeing Vision dead and talking to Wanda, he immediately says, he sees that she's upset, that something's wrong, and he says, we can go somewhere else. To me, that is Wanda's subconscious talking and saying, we don't have to be here. We could go somewhere else. And then Wanda is like, no, we are going to stay here. This is our home. I've created this place for us. We are not going anywhere. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. For sure, Vision is asking, and he has been pushing the entire time, that they leave, that something is wrong. And at first I thought it was the original Vision questioning the reality and whatnot. He's a synthezoid. So he would know what is reality and what isn't reality on a more concrete level than the humans would. So it makes sense that he's questioning these things. But now I don't know, maybe he is a representation of her subconscious saying, homegirl, we can't be sitting up in here forever. You know, we got to live our life. As is in House of M, she creates this universe to escape her problems, and in this universe everything goes the way that she wants it to go. And I think she's severing ties from the real world. And when she is fully like knowing what's going on, like when she was talking to Monica, she's not even playing. She chucked that girl out of there. She is rewinding time. She's, you know, keeping people out. It seems like she is actively pushing away reality. Kevin Feige said that what happens in WandaVision is a direct tie to what will happen in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, right? So while it could be Mephisto or any of these other potential big bads, I wonder if Wanda is the big bad for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I wonder if Wanda is the problem. You've got this Omega level mutant. I think we're allowed to say that now. And she's pissed. She's lost a lot. Maybe she decides to rip up realities. I also want to know too that SWORD knows about the hexagons. They think the hexagons are weird too. And we have IDs for everybody in the town except for Agnes, so we know Agnes ain't regular. So there must be some sort of tie to some other bad guy being going on. Yeah, you guys, so that's all I have for episode 4 of WandaVision. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you saw more. I feel like there could have been more, but we're so used to hyper focusing on all the oddities in the sitcom version of WandaVision that when we get into reality, I feel like they weren't giving us many Easter eggs, because the entirety of it was like an Easter egg. It's like, this is what the world's gonna be now. So you guys, don't forget to like this video if you like this video, comment, subscribe, click the bell so you can be notified of all things SIBZ, especially when I post new coverage of WandaVision. I might do an extra video this week in between episode 4 and 5 just to make sure that I got all of the big stuff from episode 4. And of course, if you tell me that I missed something super blatant, then I will be groveling. Anyway, you guys, thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.